My name is Dr. Ajay Chrungoo. I am chairman of Panun, Kashmir, an organization of internally displaced Hindus of Kashmir.
Okay.
And I'm placed in Jammu this time.
Mhm.
Do travel frequently outside also, but primarily operate from Jammu.
Okay.
And I think you must have noticed that while explaining the neutralization of Article 370, abrogation of 35A,
Yes.
and creation of two union territories out of the previous state of Jammu and Kashmir,
Yes.
you must have realized that Government of India more or less
Yes.
emphasizes that these measures were taken uh, for the development of the state,
Yes.
and more or less they are trying to connect the whole effort
Okay.
uh, to uh, progress in the form of industrialization, investment
Mm-hmm.
in the state or in the area. And perhaps that is the only area I think they are committing a mistake.
Okay.
And not that normalcy in the state would not bring in usher in development. It's
Okay.
development is always linked to peace. It's always linked to absence of violence on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's always linked to democracy. But at this stage, I think by taking up this position, which is basically an implication of what was done,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and not the essence. The government of India is, in fact, losing the narrative war. They are on the back foot so far as the narrative war is concerned.
Okay.
And uh, the basic thing was Article 370 represented.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it represented the the continuation of movement of Pakistan on the territory of India.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And not saying so is basically depriving yourself
Okay.
a very critical argument,
Mm-hmm.
which the international community, which all good thinking people who have stakes in peace, development, progress anywhere in the world can understand. Jammu and Kashmir was a Muslim state
Mm-hmm.
on the territory of India, and um, um, that fact needs to be told to the world. The second thing, which is critical, is that since it was a Muslim state, it could easily become an Islamist state. The type of things which we talk about radicalization and the coming of groups like Al Qaeda, ISIS, Lashkar-e-Toiba, uh, it was because the foundations of the state were basically Muslim communal, which could be easily radicalized and integrated with pan-Islamic fundamentalist movements. So again, here, which I personally wanted to tell you is that um, there is a dithering in telling the world this thing.
Okay. Sir,
That
shall I ask you one more question? Hello.
yes,
Yes, sir. What is your view on Kashmiri Pandits? Sir?
see, they were
Do they
pushed up.
have their heritage over there in Jammu and Kashmir?
Kashmiri Hindu has suffered a genocide.
Yeah.
A genocide means destruction,
Mm-hmm.
a total destruction of almost a civilization, a
Yeah.
cultural group.
Mm-hmm.
And our temples, the entire Hindu habitat in Kashmir has been destroyed over the years, last
Mm-hmm.
3 decades. With
Yes.
wherever Hindu houses were in clusters, they were burnt. Wherever they were dispersed within the Muslim population, they were either
Mm-hmm.
encroached upon, or they were either destroyed, or uh, and the people were somehow under the force of coercion
Mm-hmm.
forced to sell them, which is being recognized as a distress sale.
Yes.
So hundreds of temples were fully damaged or partially damaged, desecrated,
Yes.
And that process happened over a period of 3 decades.
Yes.
And so you can say that at this time, more or less, what you would call the Hindu habitat in Kashmir,
Yes.
it lies
That has
in
been
shambles
destroyed.
and it lies in shambles and destruction.
Yes, absolutely. So when do you, as per you, sir, when do you think Kashmir became so radical, so Islamized? What is your knowledge on that? Can you share with us, sir?
So I told you the first step for the Islamization of Kashmir was when J&K state was uh, accorded a special status
Okay.
within the Constitution of India on the premise that it was a Muslim majority state.
Okay.
So this act itself was an act of recognition of the theoretical basis of Pakistan, because Pakistan was created on the
Created. Yeah.
premise that
Absolutely.
a Muslim majority domain should have a separate state.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
And when Jammu Kashmir acceded unconditionally to India, and when the constitutional process in the J&K started, Indian leaders accepted that J&K, since it's a Muslim majority area, should have a separate dispensation,
Okay.
should be having a separate constitution. And that whole process was basically represented by incorporating Article 370 into the Constitution of India.
Okay.
So, in a way, Article 370 was the recognition uh, of the
Pakistan
of the
narrative. Yeah.
of the Muslim state on the territory of
Yes.
India.
Okay.
So Indian leaders camouflaged it, called it as article. It was a republic within the republic. It was a
Yes.
state within the state,
Yes.
and the premise was the same on which Pakistan was made. That's why we call that Jammu and Kashmir was a Pakistan on the territory of India,
Okay.
on the territory of secular India. Now
Okay, sir.
this thing has been changed. So the basic contradiction of Indian nation building has been removed. And that is where I find this government of India lacking to say it, dithering to say it, and they are perhaps thinking that it will annoy Muslims of Kashmir.
Okay.
They do not realize that this is the only speaking the truth is the only way of ultimately sending a message to those Muslims who want to be with India.
Okay.
If we still have halfway arguments, if we
Okay.
still are reluctant to say what as a nation we stand for, then we will not be able to find out people in the valley where Islamists are ruling the roost who will come forward with confidence and stand with us. So it's not a one-step operation. It's an operation which will take place over a period of time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
one critical component is that is Indian state and Indian nation ready to stand up for those people who identify with the state of India, with the nation of India.
Okay.
So it is here that I feel that government of India always has failed. It is continuing to fail on this time.
Do you think government of India has let you down, uh, any any way, in any way or in any manner?
See, letting us down is a smaller statement. You
Okay.
can call it a betrayal of the nation. What has happened?
Okay.
Government of India betrayed Hindus of
Mm-hmm.
Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
It betrayed Hindus of whole of J&K state.
Mm-hmm.
It betrayed those Muslims who were with India.
Mm-hmm.
It even betrayed those Muslims who took up guns to fight terrorism, who
Okay.
are known as counterinsurgents.
Mm-hmm.
So the policy up till now of government of India was hostaging the
Mm-hmm.
nationalists in the state to the separatists and
Okay.
handing over power to the separatists and running the state through separatists. National
Okay.
Conference and PDP were halfway separatist formations.
Mm-hmm.
Government of India handed over power to them over last 6 to 7 decades. The
Okay.
state has been ruled through halfway separatism, and
Yes.
you will never have nationalism through a halfway separatist route.
Okay, sir. Sir, what is the reality in Jammu right now as we speak? How is life going on there after Article 3 370?
Jammu, Jammu,
Yeah.
Jammu people broadly have welcomed it,
Okay.
but they are this time. I personally feel the broader segments of the society they are this time afraid of one reality.
Mm-hmm.
They say that the written components of the Muslim state of Jammu and Kashmir have been erased. But
Okay.
there is a Muslim state which is existing in the mind of the Indian state.
Okay.
Has that thing, is the de facto Muslim state of Jammu and Kashmir,
Mm-hmm.
has that been dismantled? The
Mm-hmm.
policy declarations of Government of India since they declared that abrogation of Article 370 or neutralization of Article 370 and creation of two union territories.
Okay.
Um, since that, anything which is being sent is talked about. The Government of India is talking about investment not in Jammu and Kashmir, but in Kashmir.
Okay, sir.
Government of India is talking about packages not in
Yes.
Jammu and Kashmir, but in Kashmir.
Okay, so I just
Government
got
of
your.
India is addressing it has almost a Jammu blindness
Yes.
and a Kashmir focus.
Okay, sir. What will be your advice to our government of India? These steps have to be taken, so these things can be
I
done. So,
think
what is your
I think
yes?
I think see, today itself in the media, Prime Minister of India has enunciated some 5 eyes
Okay.
for ultimately defeating terrorism in the state, in which
Yes.
industrialization, inclusiveness, such things, such eyes have been incorporated.
Investments. Yeah.
We think that the Government of India, before it delineates that, they need to recognize 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they need to recognize is that um, halfway separatism, halfway separatist governments,
Mm-hmm.
they do not create nationalist environment.
Okay.
Government of India has been running the state through halfway separatism. They have to abandon it. That is the first thing they have to realize.
Okay.
The second thing they have to realize is that the movement in Kashmir, which claims to be a freedom movement,
Mm-hmm.
it unleashed itself by the destruction of the freedom of Hindus living in Kashmir.
Yes.
Government of India needs to recognize the genocide of Hindus. That
Yes.
is the
Okay.
second thing.
Okay.
The third thing which Government of India needs to recognize is that if genocide is denied,
Mm-hmm.
it duplicates, it expands.
Mm-hmm.
There is now a spillover of the jihad into rest of India. And jihad is essentially a genocidal movement.
Okay.
It destroys the others. That
Mm-hmm.
is the third thing, which is very critical
Okay.
for Government of India to recognize.
Yes.
The fourth thing which Government of India recognize, they are not facing mere terrorism in J&K state.
Okay.
They are facing a war
An
form.
ideology.
They are facing a war form which is known as jihad.
Yes.
Jihad is
Yes.
a total war.
Yes. Yes.
Government of India has not just to devise policies for terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
They have to devise policies for the total war of this war which is known as jihad.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not the least,
Yes.
the key to peace in J&K is
Okay.
not Kashmiri Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Dogra Hindu.
Dogra Hindus. Okay.
Yes. They have to give them the legitimate space, political
Okay.
space. They have to empower them. In
Okay.
case terrorism and separatism has to be defeated permanently.